Congratulations on the purchase of the Segway SE3 Patroller, our three-wheeled vehicle designed specifically for the public safety market. Before anyone rides the SE3 Patroller for the first time, they must view this video and read and understand the accompanying user manual in their entirety. Failure to do so could result in serious injury or death. Riding the SE3 improperly can result in serious injury to the rider or others. The SE3 Patroller comes fully assembled, but you'll need to charge it to capacity before your first ride. This will require approximately 12 hours. You should also ensure that all tires are inflated to the proper specification. Failure to do so could result in loss of control and/or a serious personal injury. Be sure to use only a Segway-approved charging device. Plug the cord into a properly grounded standard electrical outlet and the SE3 Patroller's clean, dry charging port. When the battery module is charging, the blue indicator lights will scroll from the bottom to top. When the vehicle is at 100% charged, the lights will turn off, and if the unit is powered on, the user interface will display 100% next to the battery symbol. The SE3 Patroller features rider controls that are designed with safety, ease of use, and efficiency in mind. The power key is located on the right-hand side of the console. Turn it all the way to the right to power on the vehicle. You'll note that the user interface will now display information that you need to know, including the battery's charge, rider present indicator, drive mode indicator, torque gauge, speed, as well as other messages and warnings. The user interface will display fault messages until the SE3 Patroller powers off. For all faults, the motor drives are disabled, but the power is still available. Most faults indicate that the SE3 Patroller needs to be serviced. If a fault persists, do not attempt to drive the SE3 Patroller. Contact an authorized Segway dealer or distributor, or contact Segway customer care. The vehicle's handlebar controls include the drive standby mode switch, throttle, brakes, parking brake, lights, which include running lights, emergency lights, and turn signals, reverse, horn, and siren. The drive standby mode switch activates and deactivates the SE3 Patroller's drive system and should be kept in standby mode until the unit is ready to be driven. Once the rider is ready, the switch must be set to drive mode. The throttle is controlled by twisting the throttle grip towards the rider to accelerate and away from the rider to slow down. The left brake lever activates the front brake, while the right brake lever activates the rear brake. The parking brake is engaged by pushing down on the metal cap while firmly squeezing the rear brake lever. The light options include three settings: off, front and rear running lights on, and emergency lights activated. Slide the orange switch to the left or to the right to activate the turn signals. Pull out on the red hazard switch to activate the hazard indicators. The horn and siren are activated by tapping the gray switch. To activate the siren, keep the horn switch depressed for an additional moment or two. The horn will sound and the siren will follow. The horn and siren are quite loud and should not be activated in a closed space. To prepare for your first SE3 Patroller ride, you should select a riding area that has a level, smooth surface with good traction and that is free of obstacles. Wear an approved bicycle or skateboard helmet that fits properly with a chin strap in place. It must also provide protection for the back of the head. Avoid wearing clothing that could become entangled in nearby obstacles or the handlebar controls. Do not exceed the maximum payload limits. Exceeding these limits will increase your risk of falling or damaging the SE3 Patroller. Your posture and position on the vehicle affects your ability to ride safely. Therefore, be very alert when mounting the vehicle and always ride with both feet on the rider detect mat and two hands on the handlebar. First, step on and position your feet shoulder width apart on the rider detect mat. Firmly grasp the handlebar with both hands, leaving a gap between you and the handlebar. The user interface will indicate that a rider has been detected. Do not place any objects on the rider detect mat. This could cause the SE3 Patroller to move on its own in drive mode if the throttle is inadvertently activated. This may result in serious personal injury and/or vehicle damage. Now you're ready to ride. Before you begin, ensure the SE3's parking brake is engaged. The power key is off, the drive standby mode switch is set to standby, and step on to the rider detect mat. Now insert the power key and turn the vehicle on. The user interface will illuminate. In just a few seconds, the SE3 Patroller will run a complete diagnostics check. If the user interface displays any warning, do not ride until the condition is cleared. Switch from standby mode to drive mode to activate the SE3 Patroller's drive system. Disable the parking brake. Before you accelerate, survey the area to ensure it is safe for riding and that there are no obvious obstacles present. Then smoothly engage the throttle by twisting it towards you. Do not accelerate abruptly, or it will increase your risk of falling. Apply both front and rear brakes to come to a controlled stop. Always slowly activate both the front and rear brakes by squeezing the levers. Be cautious not to brake too aggressively given the riding surface, as the tires may lose traction, increasing the risk of an accident. Engage reverse to maneuver backwards. Be sure to look behind you. Then press the reverse button and smoothly engage the throttle. Apply both front and rear brakes to come to a controlled stop. Reverse is only intended for tight maneuvering. Never travel backwards over a distance. Turn and drive forward instead. Apply brakes slowly when traveling backwards. Avoid abrupt stops that will increase your risk of lifting the front wheel and falling over backwards, which will cause injury to the rider and others. The SE3 Patroller is inherently stable. However, you are responsible for riding it properly. It is important to take the time to become a proficient rider, and you can do so by practicing these training drills. Remember to always lean into the turn, or you will increase your risk of falling. To practice riding, place 3 cones in a straight line approximately 6 feet apart and alternately around each while leaning into the turn. Once you're comfortable riding the SE3 Patroller in a practice environment, begin riding in the real-world environment to test your skills. Keep in mind that the more you practice, the safer you will be when you ride in new places. When you're ready to dismount the SE3 Patroller, come to a complete stop on a flat surface away from obstacles. Then switch from drive mode to standby mode, engage the parking brake, turn the power key to the off position, and step off the rider detect mat. One important note: if you must park on an incline, chalk the wheels for an added measure of safety. The SE3 Patroller is highly maneuverable. However, to prevent accidents, you must learn to identify hazards. There are some conditions that you need to recognize and avoid. Take care to avoid abrupt maneuvers. Avoid slippery surfaces such as snow, ice, and wet floors or wet grass. Avoid steep hills. Use caution when riding over any terrain change, such as pavement to grass, or over a threshold or speed bump where the bottom of the SE3 Patroller may strike any object. Avoid riding across steep slopes. Lean into turns and lean uphill when riding across gentle slopes. Avoid turning on slopes or ramps. Never let go of the handlebar when riding across a slope. The SE3 Patroller could turn downhill and you could lose your balance. Stay centered on narrow sidewalks or elevated paths. Make sure that one wheel does not drop off a curb. Ride slowly over bumpy terrain. You are taller than you think. Be aware of the added height the SE3 Patroller and your helmet gives you, and use caution when riding indoors or in the vicinity of doorways, archways, branches, signs, or other low overhead obstacles. Be sure to leave enough wheel clearance when riding through doorways or other space-restricted areas and near curbs. Never attempt to ride downstairs, never dismount the vehicle while it's moving, and never ride with passengers. As a rider, you are responsible for maintaining vehicle rider balance by leaning into turns. Failure to do so could cause the SE3 to tip over, leading to injury or death. In the event that the SE3 Patroller overturns or strikes an obstacle, be sure to inspect it thoroughly for damage before riding it again. The SE3 Patroller's battery module is located forward on the rider platform. The module can be slid out individually and replaced with a fully charged battery module to ensure the vehicle is always operational. To charge the battery module, follow these steps. Park the SE3 Patroller and ensure that the parking brake is engaged. Verify the charge port, power cord, and AC power outlet are clean and dry. Plug the power cord that is provided with the vehicle into a grounded AC outlet and the charge port. Verify that the battery charge indicator lights are illuminated and the vehicle is charging. Before replacing the battery module, be sure it is unplugged. Never attempt to open the module as it contains toxic substances that can cause serious injury or death if handled improperly. For complete details on handling and caring for the battery module, please refer to your user materials. Remove the battery module as follows. There are 2 latches on the front of the battery module. Flip out and twist the latches so that the inside of the latches face up. Use the front handle to slowly slide the battery module partway out until the top handle is accessible. Grasp the front handle and the top handle of the battery module and slide it completely out. Use caution. The battery module weighs approximately 40 pounds. Failure to use 2 hands to remove it could result in injury. Replace with a fully charged battery module. Again, make sure that the SE3 Patroller is unplugged, powered off, and that the parking brake is engaged. Make sure the latches on the battery module are positioned with the insides of the latch facing up. Holding the battery module by both front and top handles, slide it into the opening. Twist the latches and fold them back to lock the battery module in place. We trust that this safety and training video has provided you with valuable information on the SE3 Patroller and how to ride it. Not all information on the safe use and operation of the SE3 Patroller is contained in this video. You must also review the user manual. It probably won't take you much time to feel comfortable riding the SE3 Patroller. However, you must keep in mind that there are risks involved. Always ride at a speed that is safe for you and those around you, and be prepared to stop. Respect pedestrians by yielding the right of way, and be considerate of others. If you ride responsibly and follow the guidelines in this video and other user materials, you will have a safe experience.